place, as well as Kohler, he got second, and then Azim Bell, third place, along with Michael Wilson, third, and Jake Silverstein also with a podium finish. Some great wrestlers on both of these squads. You know, Ryder obviously in the MAC, a different conference than the Big Ten Conference, the best conference arguably in college wrestling, but the MAC's got some studs.
Absolutely, Riley. I think the biggest point with the Bronx, I mean, this is only a school in Lawrence Township, New Jersey, 3,700 total students, but I think you got to give a lot of credit to head coach John Hanke. It's his 7th season at his alma mater, and Hanke is actually considered to be the greatest wrestler, at least one of them, in Ryder school history. He has brought this team into the MAC. Ryder competes in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference in everything else except for men's wrestling. So they come into the MAC, they finish first or co-first in the MAC East last year, and they're ready to show out in their first dual meet of 2023.
So as we get started, we start the meet at heavyweight, and Indiana will forfeit that weight class. It was Nick Wilhelm that was supposed to start. He medical forfeited his last 2 matches at the Battle of the Citadel. Hope he's all right. The coaches are confident that he's going to be back later on in the season, but it is David Zuba that gets the forfeit, so Indiana already spotting 6 points. Ryder up 6-0. How critical is that going to be for the Bronx? Coming in, you're in a hostile environment on the road, Luke. Indiana's already got to dig themselves out of a hole.
Absolutely. Starting down 6-0 is huge, especially in the first bat of the year for the Hoosiers. But look for Michael Spangler to try to get some points up on the board and respond quick, because this place is filled with energy. Assembly Hall is ready to explode, and we're off.
So here we go at 125. It is Michael Spangler, the redshirt freshman from Mount Pleasant, Wichita, Kansas. 4-6 last year in his first season with the Hoosiers. 63-6 in his prep career in his last 2 seasons at Pratt, a 2-time national champion.
Avoids a low shot there from Betancourt.
It is Tyler Klinsky that will be getting the start over Will Betancourt at 125. They switched it up on us just a little bit, Luke. Obviously, we got those matchups about 15 minutes before we went on the air, but some of those were still up in the air, still had some questionables at different weight classes. But Tyler Klinsky, the senior from Middleton, New Jersey, went to Middleton North High School, was number 1 in the USA wrestling among seniors at 113 pounds. As it is Spangler in on the throw. It looks like are they going to give him the takedown? No.
Wow, I'm very surprised by that.
No takedown, man. Spangler was in deep. The fans here inside Assembly Hall not liking that call, but it's Klinsky able to kind of stay on his feet and get outside to avoid getting taken down, Luke.
Absolutely. In these lower weight classes, Riley, these guys are extremely twitchy, extremely athletic, and only at a $125, the strength is unbelievable. Look for Spangler to continue to force the issue here. I think he should have got credit with the points there, but he is still currently in control of this match. A little hand fighting here in the neutral position.
Spangler with a hard collar tie, shot fakes on both sides. Spangler in the all black with the red Indiana logo. It is Ryder with the white that fades down into the black the lower you go, as it is Klinsky in deep on a shot, trying to get in that peek through position. It's Spangler holding onto the ankles. He's got the near one hooked.
He's going for that left hamstring right now.
And Spangler in this situation trying to just force a stalemate. Both wrestlers in a precarious position. Spangler just holding on. Is a great shot by Klinsky. Still fighting. Official not calling it for stalemate. We are still active as it is Klinsky trying to climb out the back. Great job by Spangler, and there's the stalemate call. We will go back neutral. Man, both of these wrestlers each having a shot to get in. They've both gotten to each other's legs. That's great confidence for the offense of both these guys, Luke. But what do you got to do to really get through and finish those takedowns?
Absolutely. You got to turn them once you get them on the ground and start getting some swipes out of these officials. And when we talk about the referees for these matchups, Riley, I think it's important to note these guys are new to the rule changes that Josie hit on pregame as well. So we might see a little bit of rust and some issues with their calls as well. But early on, just some hand fighting, and we have
Spangler with a blast double, looking for the half. He's got him on his back. And already getting spikes. Klinsky in trouble at 125. And able to roll out of it. Klinsky still gripping the leg of Spangler, but a nice, beautiful blast double from Spangler.
It's going to get Spangler 4 points to end this first period. He's still in control right now, picking up some riding time.
Spangler just going to hold on, and we end the first period with some fireworks. Michael Spangler, a 7-point move, 3-point takedown, and 4 swipes. Huge for the redshirt freshman, Luke.
What a start to end that first period out of Spangler. This guy didn't compete at the Citadel, but he comes into the dual play in the first of the year, and what a start. He's now up 7-0 on Klinsky. He's going to start on top.
Spangler on top, immediately going to the spiral ride. Trying to lock up that cradle, doesn't have the pressure for it, and Klinsky able to just explode up and get the escape. So we're up 7-1, Spangler over Klinsky. Klinsky last year 17-14, 8-6 in duels. He was 5-2 in the MAC conference, went 1-2 at the MAC tournament.
Yeah, he's been the starter the last 2 years for the Broncos, for the Bronx.
Spangler with the underhook. He's got the far wrist hooked up. Looking for a snap down. Goes for the ankle. Nice defense there from Klinsky. Klinsky with a shot. Spangler able to walk away from it. We go back center mat. Spangler up 7-1 after the blast double into the turn. Almost had the pin, but a great fight from Klinsky at the end of period 1. Exactly what you need to do if you're the Hoosiers, Luke. You already, again, as we mentioned, spot him 6 points with the forfeit at heavyweight.
Absolutely. Spangler has 2 legs right now, and there's the takedown.
And Spangler's in once again, 3-point takedown. He's up 10-1. Same shot, blast double in there. That shot's been there for him the last couple times he's gone to it, Luke.
Yeah, Riley, he's running up the score right now. Leads 10-1 over Klinsky.
Spangler trying to go back to that side ride. He's trying to collapse that leg, but unable to, and Klinsky able to get away. It's an 8-point match. Already looking at a major if you're the Hoosier. 35 seconds left. In on a single leg is Spangler, trying to cut the corner is Klinsky. He's able to. He's trying to reach over and grab that ankle, and they're going to be called for a stalemate, and we'll reset neutral.
Yeah, Riley, look for Klinsky to try and make something happen in these final 21 seconds of the second period, get some momentum, and get away from major, even tech fall territory right now.
Indiana had 4 NCAA qualifiers last year, and the official's going to stop it, and we'll reset. I think both wrestlers were tied up in the fingers. Obviously going to stop that and talk to them. No needless injuries. That's what they always do. 10 seconds left in the second period. The Hoosier up 10-2 over the Bronx. Nice ankle pick inside there is Klinsky. Can he get a last-second takedown? No. Very close, collapses the hip. It's a great shot to end the period for Klinsky, but nothing doing, and Spangler will go down. And here is the crowd inside Assembly Hall. Pretty decent turnout for the Hoosiers here inside Assembly Hall, Luke.
Absolutely, Riley. They started flooding in even as long as 30 minutes before this duel started, and Spangler getting the crowd going early at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. He's going to start on the bottom to start the third period. Spangler with a switch, and he's up and up to his feet, and we're back up 11-2. Yeah, Spangler had one major decision in 22-23 season as his redshirt junior year. 2 tech falls and 1 pin. He almost had that pin in the opening seconds, Riley. And Spangler went for the throw, and it was Klinsky that was able to just get back around it. Nice defense. He gets the takedown, and it's Spangler that's down. It's now an 11-5 match. Yeah, Riley, look out for points now when it comes to team. We talked about IU starting down 6-0 after the forfeit in the heavyweight class. You know, Klinsky, he could pull off the improbable and backdoor a win with a big-time pin or something like that, but Spangler trying to hold on and potentially get a lot of points, that 4-bomb for a major. So it was stalling called on Klinsky. He was tied up with the fingers once again. Again, the officials obviously emphasizing aggressive wrestling, but they're not going to mess around and really wait on those stalling calls, Luke. For those, defensive style of wrestling. Absolutely. I think that is well on its way to getting eliminated, Riley. These rule changes want instant contact, takedown efforts. And, Angel Escobedo shared with us on Monday at practice, he likes that for his guys. As we get into the front headlock position, Klinsky trying to switch off to a double, precarious position. He switches around and he gets the takedown over Spangler. This is getting interesting, Riley. Once again, Klinsky trying to cut, but it's Spangler holding on to the leg, and now we'll go out of bounds and reset. Now it's a 4-point match just like that. Klinsky finding that second gear, finding that second wind late in the third period. Yeah, still plenty of time right now, still 49 seconds. Klinsky in full control of this third period. His bench is getting into it, the coaching staff.
13-8, a 5-point match. At this point, it's a regular decision. Warning for stalling on Spangler. He goes into the ankle pick, down to the single leg. Cut in the corner is Klinsky. Trying to turn it over, going for the crossface. Klinsky knows he's got to go. 25 seconds left and counting. Spangler just holding on for everything he's got. He doubles off. Spangler trying to get a last-second takedown. And we get called for a stalemate. Back up to our feet. 5-point matchup in favor of Spangler. Klinsky's got to go. 15 seconds left. Hard snap from Spangler. Shot in space. Klinsky circling around.
8 seconds remain. Spangler looks to play defense.
Spangler is just going to hold on as he goes out of bounds. Stalling is called on Spangler, so another point will be awarded to Klinsky, 13-9. But Spangler, Michael Spangler, gets the Hoosiers on the board after the forfeit at heavyweight. He wins the match 13-9 at 125.
The Hoosiers pick up the decision there after going down 6-0 to start. Huge performance out of the redshirt senior from Wichita, Kansas. Very impressive. I'm sure Escobedo and their staff is thrilled with the start that they get out of the 125 weight class.
Michael Spangler went to Hayesville High School in Wichita, Kansas, 3-time state champion. You know, as you look at the prep careers of all these wrestlers that come to these illustrious and great D1 programs, you know, they have some kind of solid track record in high school, maybe at least one state championship notched in their belt, Luke.
Absolutely. It feels like doing prep this week and talking to these guys, Riley. The Big Ten is obviously the top conference in college wrestling, but there are plenty of hidden gems. There are plenty on the Bronx. We have a couple of ranked wrestlers, but overall, just being in this atmosphere, starting off wrestling, what a time to be alive, Riley. I think we're really going to get into the more intense matchups when it comes to long-lasting implications in the new year and when Big Tens come around, especially for the Hoosiers and the MAC, respectively, with the Bronx. But overall, the energy is just, you know, that first duel. It's in the air here at Simon Scott Assembly Hall.
Now, I was going to ask you, because I didn't get a chance to ask you in the open, but I wanted to ask, what is your match of the night? What's the matchup that everybody watching at home and the Hoosier fans here inside Assembly Hall and Rider fans here inside Assembly Hall are looking forward to watching the most and should be?
You know, Riley, I'm actually going to I'm going to take a step back because I don't want any preconceptions on any of these guys. I don't want to judge them and rule any out because we saw a quick switch even for the Bronx in that first weight class.
Right.
We don't even know exactly who we're going to have in each of these weight classes until the final minutes or even seconds for us at the scores table up here. So I'm going to give every single guy the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, IU has a couple top-tier ranked wrestlers, but each team has a few transfers and guys that are ready to prove themselves. I mean, we saw Spangler. He's a JUCO transfer. And he comes out, instant impact, does his thing. So I'm just going to take it one duel at a time. And here we go with 133. How about Richie Kohler and Caden Rooks?
The 28th ranked wrestler at 133 pounds, Richie Kohler, 3-1 at the Princeton Open, the grad student from Middleton, New Jersey. Last year, 11-10, 7-7 in duels, 5-2 in the MAC. And he will face off against a guy who was a routine starter at 141 last year, Luke, but he's bumped down to 133. That's Caden Brooks, the grad student from Columbus, Indiana, 3-1 at the Battle at the Citadel.
Yeah, this is, if you wanted to ask for a specific one, how about the next one up? This is going to be a very fun to watch. You know, Kohler coming in at 28th in the country via Intermat. This is one that the Bronx would love to have.
Hard snap down from Rooks as we start this matchup off at 133 pounds. And I tell you what, Luke, we were talking throughout the week in preparation of this broadcast. These lighter weights just so fun to watch.
Oh, unbelievable. Right now, Rooks has a good...
Rooks in on a single leg, trying to shelf it up, reaching for that far leg. It's Kohler that's got the overhook, trying to whizzer it down. Rooks climbing the tree, pulling him back in, and that's a takedown. And again, getting used to the officials holding up 3 instead of 2 for the takedowns now. As Rooks trips him out of bounds, Kohler tries to stay in. He's got one ankle in.
Riley, how different is it going to be in college wrestling this year when it comes to Big Ten environments, especially everyone screaming 2 in the crowd, and now it's 3.
It's definitely going to be an adjustment for pretty much everybody that's a fan of the sport, for everybody that's a wrestler themselves. We talked to Coach Escobedo earlier on this week in practice, and he said he noticed that matches go a lot faster. There's a lot more majors, a lot more points scored, and it's just an adjustment, but it's an experiment that might be here to stay.
Absolutely right. In just about every single sport, it's offense sells. That's what they want. That's what everybody wants to see.
As it is Kohler that gets the escape, we're back up on our feet. It's a 3-1 match in favor of Rooks. Rooks is a true freshman in the 2019-2020 year, and an NCAA at-large bid in 2021. He started as a true freshman his first year. 128-5 in his high school career, a two-time state champ at Columbus East High School.
Yeah, a couple of Columbus East guys. Their entire team is actually here in attendance. What a good place to come watch a duel between the Bronx and the Hoosiers. Simon Scott Assembly Hall. The basketball team will be back in action on Sunday afternoon against Army. But for now, this setup is just about as good as it gets for college wrestling. Caden Rooks, he went 3-1 at the Citadel. He actually was upset in his second match in the semifinals by Maximilian Leet from American, and then he ended up winning his final two to finish third in the 133 weight class bracket.
As Rooks gets called for a caution. We reset. 1:11 to go here in the first period at 133 pounds. Rooks 3, Kohler 1. As Kohler goes in for the chin tilt. Chin whizzer, nothing doing. Rooks staying on the leg as Kohler's got a tight grip on the head. Got to be very careful in this position. You can find yourself on your back really quick. That's what Matt Ramos did to Spencer Lee in the semifinals of the NCAA tournament last year. Rooks back down on the leg in the crackdown position. Kohler trying to reverse it and get the roll through over.
Look for Kohler in these middle to late rounds here in the final seconds. It's a guy that didn't wrestle much last year because of injury.
Crowd wants the takedown, nothing doing. The roll through by Kohler, and now we're in the front headlock position as it is Rooks that's got that leg hooked, trying to drive through it. Kohler still trying to maintain the defense. No takedown yet. 15 seconds to go in the first period.
Right as we talk about offense, Riley, still 3-1 right now as we're heading the final seconds of the first period. Might get a call in the final seconds. Escobedo's really wanting something.
See Coach Escobedo and associate head coach CJ Red running the 3 call, nothing doing, and we go into the third period, 3-1. You talk about a guy like Coach Angel Escobedo, Luke, for the Hoosiers, 21-41 in his career as a head coach here at IU. 16 NCAA qualifiers, 4 All-Americans. In his time, he wrestled here at IU from 2007 to 2010. He won the 2008 NCAA title at 125 pounds as a sophomore. He's a 3-time Big Ten champ, program's only 4-time All-American. This is a guy, if the Hoosiers are going to want to get back up into that national conversation, get another national championship, Escobedo's the guy to do it.
I mean, how safe is it to have a head coach of your team that already is a national champion? He knows what it takes, Riley. And I think something to look out for is how his wrestlers come to compete in this opening duel. His 2022-23 season, by far the most successful for Indiana wrestling under his leadership. You know, he was hired in the 2015-2016 season. They had 3 Big Ten victories last year. And we're all tied up in the center of the mat.
And they will call a stalemate, much to the chagrin of the Hoosier fans here inside Assembly Hall, and we reset as it's Kohler that got the escape to start the period. It's a 1-point match. Richie Kohler, 2-time NCAA qualifier in his time. He went to Christina Brothers Academy in St. Augustine. Impressive prep career from this young man. Rooks in deep once again. Another awkward-looking position here. Rooks trying to climb the tree once again. Kohler's done a great job defending the shots so far. He's grasping on for dear life on the ankle of Rooks. Once again, Rooks trying to elevate and pop his head through to get on the other side. There you see it right there. He's trying to climb the tree. Again, the strong hips of Kohler, just too much. Overpowering Rooks. 30 seconds to go in the second period.
Yeah, this guy is definitely healthy this year, Riley. I talked about him going 11-10 last year. He battled injuries all season. Extremely frustrating for a guy like him. How about Assembly Hall to kick you off against a stud in Caden Rooks, and he is performing right now. Still trails by 1 with 15 to go in the second period.
Kohler trying to hook his ankle around, and another stalemate is going to be called.
Yeah, 11 seconds left here. Going to line him up in neutral. Look for a 3-bomb here on a takedown for either guy to get some momentum. for their benches heading into the third period.
Could see some fireworks, but it looks like both wrestlers might just be content to let this go to period 3. And that's what happens. Caden Rooks with a slim 1-point lead as we head into the third period. He's up 3-2, and he's going to go on bottom. Caden Rooks trying to have a bounce-back year after a pretty tough year last year, wrestling the Big Ten duels, wrestling in the Big Ten tournament. He is due for another year, and maybe cutting down to 133 is the place to do it. We'll flip it over to John Hange, the Rider head coach. He's in his 7th season, 50-29 all-time. Had a breakout year in 2020-2021. 3rd at the MAC championships, 6 NCAA qualifiers. The first finalist in program history was Jesse Della Vecchia at 157 pounds. That earned him co-MAC Coach of the Year, was Hange. He also wrestled for the Bronx and was an All-American for the Bronx as well. And there's the takedown, rather the reversal. And Rooks is looking for back points. No swipes awarded.
IU coaching staff, CJ Redd and Angel Escobedo, very frustrated with no swipes there. See how that affects the later duels, because they didn't get it earlier with Spangler.
Right time tacking up for Rooks as well. He's at 37 seconds. If he surpasses that minute mark, it will be an extra point. And the official calls potentially dangerous. We will reset at center mat. But as I was talking, John Hange, Division I All-American for the Bronx. He got 4th at 190 pounds his senior year at the NCAAs in 1993. 3-time conference champ, 3-time NCAA qualifier. We mentioned Escobedo for the Bronx, Luke, but how about John Hange for the Bronx?
Yeah, couldn't be a better fit, obviously, coaching at his alma mater. We talked about that in the Open. 9-5 last year in dual meets, 6-1 in the MAC. They were the co-MAC East champs. This year they're picked 4th, but I don't think Hange's going to be all right with 4th. He's going for the co-champs, if not the outright champs this season. He's got a very good roster that could do it.
Very tight matchup here at 133 pounds as Ryder leads the team duel 6-3, precarious position.
Look out.
Kohler going over the top. Ryder bench wanting a takedown, nothing awarded yet, and there it is. 3-point takedown, and just like that, Kohler flips the match 6-5
oh my goodness,
with 25
Riley.
seconds to go.
Coming out of the final seconds, Rooks needs to escape to tie this one up.
Right time, not a factor, not going to be a factor in this final decision. 13 seconds and counting. Rooks has got to go.
Rooks looks exhausted, Riley.
Great spiral ride from Kohler. 5 seconds left. Rooks trying to escape. Bounces back around, and Kohler is going to hang on at 133.
What an impressive showing this entire 3-period bout for Richie Kohler. Ranked 28th in the weight class on Intermat for a reason, Riley. Unbelievable, the toughness, the wherewithal, and the grit. At one point in the second period, I thought he was drawing dead, but boy, could I have been more wrong. Richie Kohler with a big-time decision pickup over Caden Rooks.
Moves to 4-1 on the year. Great showing from the grad student, working behind in that entire match, Luke, but not letting that get to him, keeping himself composed and poised. That's just experience being a grad student.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we talked about it with the 125 weight class, how athletic, agile, and strong at the same time all these guys are. That was incredible, some of the positions that both of those guys were putting themselves into and their opponent into, but it was Kohler who had the endurance down the stretch. Really guided Rooks around, and it looked like he was a little bit out of energy. Come the end of that one, couldn't get the escape to tie it up. Ryder now takes a 9-3 lead when it comes to the team scoring.
Here we are at 141 pounds as Ryder leads 9-3 over Ryder. Dan Fongaro, graduate student, he transferred. He was originally at Columbia, spent 3 years there, 16-16 last year at Columbia at 149 pounds. He got 6 at the EIWA championships.
He's going against Imani Almodovar, the sophomore from Landisville, New Jersey. And this is a guy with Hange's squad. He's looking for impact out of him. You know, not too much. He was redshirted a season ago. He's listed at 133, so he bulked up to 141 for this matchup, Riley. He went 5-6 during his redshirt year. What a perfect opportunity to prove yourself at Simon Scott Assembly Hall against a very talented wrestler in Dan Fongaro.
Almodovar from Landisville, New Jersey, went to St. Augustine as well. Last year, 5-6, as you mentioned, 4th at the Princeton Open. Bumping up in weight, definitely easier to do than cutting down. You definitely get to put a little bit more on your dinner plate every time you come home.
Absolutely. It's still a different wrestling style at every single one of these classes. You know, the way these guys can maximize every single pound when it comes to strength, athleticism, and speed, it is different. Fongaro's now flipped around, and they're going to reset him.
Working on the edge of the mat. Again, they will go out of bounds and reset at the neutral position at center mat. Again, it's the Indiana logo with the white and red.
Fongaro coming off the first place finish in the 141 weight class bracket at the Citadel. He's a career 52-1 wrestler, and he's working on Almodovar right now.
Fongaro in deep. He's got the overhook, trying to finish around, collect the leg. Nice work there from Almodovar, wow. But Fongaro gets around and gets the takedown.
Fongaro is redshirt junior year at Columbia. He was a 16-16 wrestler at 149. Won 2 matches by major decision, 1 by fall. He's actually ranked as high as the number 33 wrestler in the country at 149 in late January, and that's a good time to be at your best.
5th of the 2018 New Jersey State Championships. Before he took that journey with Columbia, he leads 3-0 over the sophomore Almodovar. With 43 seconds to go here in the first period, it's a 3-0 match. If you're just joining us, Ryder leads 9-3 over the Hoosiers as the Bronx got a forfeit at heavyweight and then proceeded to win their opening match at 125 pounds from Michael Spangler. He got the 13-9 decision over Tyler Klinsky, and Richie Kohler worked from behind over Caden Rooks to win 6-5.
Fongaro working from the top right now. He's got that left knee trying to push Almodovar's right leg out and turn him. He's going for it right now.
There's the tilt. He's looking for swipes as we close out the first period. Looks like he got all 4 of them, and a late turn by Fongaro.
Wow.
Great job by the grad transfer as he goes up 7-0.
Beats the buzzer with the 4 swipes. Dan Fongaro increases his lead, 7-0.
As we enter the second period of action, Fongaro leads 7-0 over Diamine Almodovar.
Starts on the bottom here. Be very impressive to see Fongaro get a quick escape and increase his lead to 8-0. He's up right now. See if he can get back to neutral. He does.
Fongaro with the easy escape. He walks away, and it's an 8-0 match, a major decision match right now.
Would be big for the Hoosiers, Riley. Trail 9-3.
Fongaro also with 1 minute of riding time, over 1 minute. He's at 103, so if he's able to maintain that for the rest of the match, he gets a bonus point.
Riley, I'm really looking for Diamine Almodovar to hang in there right now. I know he's down 8-0, but like I said earlier, this is a very important first duel for him. Obviously, he's a huge underdog against the veteran Fongaro, but this is just a sophomore in Almodovar. I know he's down. He needs to hang in there, limit this loss if it is, or maybe make some fireworks and get his bench fired up to get him some momentum heading into the final minutes.
Starting over the number 25 ranked wrestler in Mackenzie Bell, the senior from Swedesboro, New Jersey. Take down on the edge of the mat, tap dancing around the corner, and nothing doing. Will reset neutral. (8-0) match in favor of the grad transfer. His freshman year at Columbia, the 3rd most wins on the team. So this is a guy that's reliable. Obviously, Indiana sticking more to the recruiting class in the state itself, in the Indiana state itself. Half of the wrestlers on the squad are from the state of Indiana, Luke. But, you know, great job in the portal, too, by Coach Escobedo.
Absolutely. He dabbled everywhere in the portal. You know, Fongaro from Lincoln Park, New Jersey. Transferred him from Columbia, like we said, but New Jersey, great wrestling state, Riley.
Man.
This guy's been at it for years now.
Fongaro in on a single leg, trying to double off.
I think a major decision would be big for Dan Fongaro. He recorded 10 in the 2021-22 season as a redshirt sophomore at Columbia. Only 2 major decisions last year. He's trying to get that early in the first duel of the season.
Fongaro sticking with it, just trying to hook the leg. That's all he needs to do to get the 2. Great job by Almodovar to not get hooked. Nothing doing, he beats the clock. Wow, important takedown, not giving up there, Luke.
Coach Hange was thrilled with that. He was really pushing the youngster Almodovar to hang in there. He doesn't let his leg get hooked, and we're in neutral to start the 3rd.
Difference between an 8-point match and an 11-point match. Almodovar has still not scored in this bout at 141. He goes in for a shot. Nice defense, sprawl back and circle around by Fungaro, and he gets another takedown. He's up 11-0.
Yeah, turns defense into offense there. Sprawls and then turns Almodovar around. He's got him on the ropes right now.
And Fungaro will cut Almodovar. Looking for the tech fall here at 141 pounds with 135 to go.
Fungaro, I know it's early, but after practice on Monday, Riley, this team loves the transfer from Columbia. He is a huge glue guy in the locker room, and as you're seeing right now, he went 3-0, weight class champ at the Citadel. He can do it and back himself up on the mat.
Almodovar in on a single leg, cracking it down, trying to make something happen. It's great defense there by Fungaro, trying to circle around and turn defense into offense. And as expected, it will get the stalemate call, and we're above a minute to go here at the third period at 1:41.
I think right now Almodovar is just trying to get this within 7 to make this just a decision. The new takedown rule that could be in effect right here.
Almodovar in on a shot once again, trying to double off. And Fungaro just cracking down on the head of Almodovar. He front flips over the top. Fungaro at this point, you want the tech fall, but you have the major secured. Don't want to give up a takedown here in the late stages. If you're Ryder, you're pushing Almodovar to do everything he can to get that major wiped off the board.
Yeah, we have a huge matchup up next in 149 with Quinn Kenner and Graham Rooks. I think Fungaro should just try and play as much defense as he can. I know this is an aggressive offensive sport, especially with the rule changes, but hold on to this major right now for the final 27 seconds. Give your team momentum heading into one of your, if not the best wrestler on your team.
They called Fungaro for scissor in the head, so it's Almodovar that gets another point. Fungaro in on a shot once again. He's got the bottom leg hook, trying to come around and collect the 3. Almodovar just trying to hold on. And there's the takedown for Fungaro, and he's going to close out this match with a major.
How about Dan Fungaro? Riley's yet to lose this season, 1-0 now in duels. Huge pickup over the sophomore, Damani Almodovar, but Dan Fungaro has been elite as a Hoosier. 3-0 at the Citadel, and now 1-0 in the first duel at Simon Scott Assembly Hall over the Bronx.
And that brings the Hoosier fans right back into it. Now 9-7, trailing only by 2 points. And now we go into 149, who we've talked about as the match of the night. But with that, we're going to go ahead and step aside and be back momentarily for the match of the night here at 149. Hall as Riders up 9-7, and here we are at 149 pounds. It's the grad student Graham Rooks going up against Quinn Kenner, ranked number 20 in his weight class. Graham Rooks at number 6. The ranked matchup that all of us have been making our popcorn for, Luke.
Yeah, Riley, you asked me to point out a matchup, and I could have done the obvious and picked 149 because these two guys are going to give us a show. A little hand fighting early and neutral, but both are ranked wrestlers, and both are looking for a lot more than just a dual win in the opening week of the regular season. I think these guys go deep into the new year looking for not just conference championships, but NCAA qualifiers and runs there.
Graham Rooks 3-0 at the Battle of the Citadel. He's in deep on a shot. Graham Rooks in deep on a shot. Nice defense there from Kenner.
Rooks ranked 6 in his weight class. He's an 80 and 55 career wrestler. And they're going to get the takedown to Kenner right now to start us off.
Kenner, the redshirt senior from Mullica Hill, New Jersey. Went to Kingsway High School last year at 149 pounds, 24-9, ranked number 20. Obviously last year 24-9, 10-3 in duels, 5-2 in the MAC duels. He went 4-1 at the MAC tournament. Qualified for the NCAA tournament, lost his first 2 matches, and that was the end of the year for the redshirt senior. Graham Rooks, on the other hand, at the national level, made it all the way to the round of 12. He upset Kellen March and Caleb Henson. Was the furthest in the NCAAs and IU wrestlers gone since 2017 when Nate Jackson placed 8th at 184. Rooks 5th of the Big Tens last year, a 3-time NCAA qualifier. Went to the same high school as his brother Caden Rooks, Columbus East.
Yeah, we talked about there's a lot of Columbus East wrestlers in the stands tonight. So Graham Rooks looking to show out not just for Assembly Hall and the IU community, but his own high school. He's a grad student, interior design major, and this is his 6th season. He's actually been at IU since 2019. 3-0 at the Citadel, was a weight class champ. He comes in with a lot of momentum, but he trails 3-1 right now with 1 minute and 6 seconds left in the first period.
Kenner got the quick takedown, trying to get a ranked upset here to increase Ryder's lead. They still are ahead by 2.
A lot of hand fighting here early on, Riley. We saw Kinner kind of throwing a little bit of like right-hand jabs to mess with Rooks to start.
Kenner in deep on a shot, and he's got the takedown. Man, Rooks did not see that one coming, and the official's going to stop it. And we will reset. They give a point to Graham Rooks. So there was kind of a little bit of a tie-up there. I think Kenner might have grasped a hold of Rooks' chest. Might have been called for locked hands. Let's see what happens here.
Quick call of the official. They discussed for a couple seconds. Now we're back. Rooks is going to start on the bottom.
Might have been called for potentially dangerous. I don't know for sure, but nonetheless, Rooks has a point. But Kenner with the early lead, 6-2 with 45 to go in the first.
Yeah, Quinn Kenner's no joke. This guy was a top 40 high school recruit. 167-8 was his record in high school. He actually started his college career, Riley, in the Big Ten at Ohio State. For the first 2 years as a Buckeye, he was a 38-10 wrestler. Last 2 years, he's wrestled at the 141 weight class, transferred to Ryder. He did not compete in the Princeton Open, but he's coming out early with a little bit of a lead over Graham Rooks, IU's top wrestler.
2-time New Jersey State champion, precarious position for both wrestlers. Kenner, a 2-time NCAA qualifier, MAC champion at the MAC Championships his sophomore year.
Yeah, he was able to battle back through the blood rounds at the MAC Championships. He finished 3rd, picked up his 2nd straight NCAA bid last year. They're going to take us to the end of the first.
And how about this for a score? Quinn Kenner, number 20, over number 6, Graham Rooks, 6-2, as we head into the second period, and Rooks will go down.
This is something that's interesting about the transfer portal, Riley. You take a guy like Kenner, and everybody watches the Big Ten because there are fireworks, there's great crowds, and it is the top wrestling conference. But this guy transferred out of the Big Ten. He's the face of the program right now. He finished last year ranked number 22 in his weight class, 24-9, about as legit as it gets. And, you know, he's showing Assembly Hall and the IU community what he can do to their top wrestler, Graham Rooks.
Quinn Kenner with a tight spiral ride as he gets his leg in. Rooks doing a good job of digging that out.
Graham Rooks was in a lot of battles like this at the Citadel. Although he went 3-0 and won his weight class, only 1 major, 2 minors coming down to the stretch there. He was a 29-11 wrestler last year as a redshirt senior, 10-3 in duels. So he's really going to try and have to fight in this last period and a half.
And this is a dangerous position you do not want to be in if you're Graham Rooks. When you get tied up and face off against a tough leg rider on top, they can turn you and turn you quickly as Kenner's got the boots dug in.
Yeah, he's working on that right wrist right now.
Kenner, heavy hips on top. And I tell you what, Luke, Kenner's just come out and been the aggressor and has just been full force, 100 miles per hour. And I don't think Graham Rooks really expected that coming out of the gate.
Yeah, as much as I can say I'm surprised, I'm not. All you got to do is look at Quinn Kenner's resume. This guy is an elite wrestler in the MAC conference, let alone all of college wrestling, Riley. But I am surprised by Rooks. He doesn't look to be very confident right now from an aggressive standpoint. Escobedo's right-hand man, I will mention. We went to practice on Monday, and Graham Rooks was the demo for every single instruction, every drill. He was kind of just putting his head down, and he was one of the hardest workers in that room. But he is getting worked around by a very talented wrestler from Mullica Hill, New Jersey.
And again, Kenner looking to dig the legs in once again. It's Rooks that's able to prevent it momentarily. It's a tight spiral ride on the right side of Rooks. Kenner doing a great job on top, known for his top riding. And you got to be at this level, Luke, if you want to have the dominance. And you mentioned the resume. Kenner definitely has to have that top riding dominance in order to rack up that riding time. Over 3 minutes of riding time, and we still have a whole period to go.
Absolutely. You know, Graham Rooks is going to have to make something happen in this third period. Maybe an escape here with 7 seconds left in the second would help him get a point on the board because he's going to lose one to riding time indefinitely.
Kenner gets warned for stalling, just kind of hanging on the hips. He's still ahead 6-2 with riding time well above 3 minutes, so he will get that ride time bonus, so make it a 7-2 match as he finishes on top over Graham Rooks. Man, dominant performance through 2 periods from Kinner, Luke.
I love Kinner and his consistency. One thing I bring up about that second period, he was the aggressor, obviously getting riding time points, but with the new style of wrestling we're seeing, I'm surprised. Only one stalling call towards the end of that. He was very active on top while not really racking up swipes or points, but he is in complete control of this bout right now.
Rooks chooses neutral, knowing he's got to go. Less than 2 minutes to go here at 149. The redshirt senior Quinn Kinner with a 7-2 lead, an 8-2 lead with riding time over the graduate student Graham Rooks here at 149 pounds. 9-7 lead for the Rider Bronx here inside Assembly Hall.
Quinn Kinner has been this good all the way throughout his college career. We talked about 38-10 as a Buckeye and 21-22. He was an NCAA qualifier, MAC champion, finished the year ranked number 21, and then in 22-23 finished the season ranked 22. I think this is a season with a start like this, if he can hold off Graham Rooks, this could be a huge season flooded with accolades for Quinn Kinner, the senior out of Jersey.
Ride time fully secured for Kinner, so he is leading 8-2, a 6-point match. Rooks kind of got to turn on the gas and go. Heavy on the head, looking for the ankle picks. Nice defense from Kinner. Kinner comes back with a hard collar tie of his own.
Rooks needs something. Just 50 seconds left. Needs a takedown and potentially some swipes. We know he's capable of it. Trying to work on this right leg right now.
Sprawl back from Rooks, and he's in deep on a shot. Nice job there from Kinner, able to lock around the legs. And he's looking to just stall the time out here. We'll drain it as much as possible. Stalemate called. We'll go back to our feet.
How composed does Quinn Kinner look right now? He's looking at his sideline with a smirk on his face. He is in complete control, dominating Graham Rooks. Huge pickup for the Bronx.
A smile, a bearded smile rather, on the face of Kinner. That's another new rule change, kind of a niche thing now. You don't really have any regulations on the facial hair anymore, so those guys that look better with the beards are happy, Luke.
Kinner even came over to us before this whole bout started and
asked for one of my highlighters to help with his taped wrists.
Maybe that was his good luck charm, because he has been exceptional. Quinn Kinner picking up a huge win at Simon Scott Assembly Hall over Graham Rooks, and he's fired up looking at his bench.
Quinn Kinner with an 8-2 win at 149 pounds. How do you like me now? Wow. Upset City, 20-6. I'll tell you what, we mentioned it at the beginning of the match there, Luke. Kinner just came out, was aggressive, got to his shots, got to his leg, and he did not step off the gas that entire match. We will have a 5-minute intermission, and we will come back for the last few weight classes starting at 157. Ryder with a 12-7 lead over the hosting Indiana Hoosiers. Welcome back to Assembly Hall. The Rider Bronx on the road, up 12-7 over the hosting Indiana Hoosiers inside Assembly Hall. Man, they have been the aggressors through all of these matches, Luke, and we just came off a big upset at 149. Quinn Kinner over number 6, Graham Rooks.
Unbelievable showing at it, Kinner. He came into a hostile environment, Simon Scott Assembly Hall, and took no prisoners. What an impressive showing, taking down the stud Rooks. But boy, were those points big for Rider. The Bronx lead 12-7 as we're heading into the back half of bouts.
And again, Indiana having to spot Rider 6 points right out of the gate. We started at heavyweight. Indiana would have had a wrestler there in Nick Wilhelm, but he medical forfeited his last 2 matches at the Battle at the Citadel tournament, was unable to compete in the match tonight. So I wonder if those points are going to come back to haunt him, Luke.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. They put up 118.5 points at the Citadel. They have 3 guys win their weight classes. But looking back to some decisions made back there when you look at Willem, he wrestles in his first 2 bouts, wins them. Then he wrestles in the semifinals, and he has to medical forfeit mid-bout. They put him back out there in the consolation bracket, and he medical forfeits again. Riley, I'm wondering if him wrestling in those 2 bouts injured has really hurt him more, and that's why we don't see him tonight.
And let's go back to Josie Broyles. Josie.
Thanks, guys. Great energy here at Simon Scott Assembly Hall so far. Let's talk about some of the new players that came onto the IU Hoosier team. We have 8 new players, 3 transfers and 5 freshmen. Talking about one of those transfers from Columbia University grad student Dan Fangaro, just won his match 2-14 against Ryder, really taking advantage of that aggressive skill set, really taking advantage of the 3-point takedown. Looking great so far, and excited to see how the rest of the duel goes. Back to you guys.
In Indiana having to work from behind this entire match as Ryder leads 12-7, and here we go at 157 pounds.
Okay, Riley, going back to what you asked me at the start, what's the important and best bout that we're gonna get, okay? Last one between Rooks and Kinner, probably the 2 most talented wrestlers in this entire building. The most important, I would say right now, between Bolivar and Washleski, because the Hoosiers trail 12-7. The Bronx could increase a big lead here as we're in the latter half of bouts.
It's Nico Bolivar, the senior.
This crowd needs to get into this one.
3-1 at the Battle of the Citadel tournament from Oak Park, Illinois. Went to Oak Park High School as a 4-time state qualifier last year, 16-14. In the Tournament of Champions, the Maryville Open as well. He competed in both those tournaments, but he hasn't really been the guy at 157. It was Gilcher that started last year. Bolivar kind of just having to bide his time and wait for his opportunity to wrestle at the varsity level.
Absolutely, Riley. I think an interesting point was what I saw at practice on Monday morning. He was lined up, of course, with Gilcher in just about every single drill and then the live wrestling towards the back half of practice, and he really performed. He's extremely athletic. I think he's looking to prove a lot of people wrong this year. Of course, 3-1 at the Citadel. He lost to Tyler Williams of Drexel by decision. He finished 3rd in the 157 bracket. Career 20-10 wrestler, and this would be a great start for him to pick up a win in the first duel of the season.
Colton Washleski, the junior from Flemington, New Jersey. Last year he actually wrestled at this same weight class that he's at right now, 157, 6-16, 3-9 in duels. Kind of had a rough year, just kind of all around. 1-2 at the MAC tournament. He did finish 4th at the Princeton Open.
Yeah, so they're going to go with Bolivar over Gilcher for the Hoosiers. However, this is a weight class that Indiana expects to win, and now considering the score, they need to win, Riley. So a big performance out of Bolivar is expected, needed, and really, Angel Escobedo's relying on him right now.
Nico Bolivar's had a couple solid shots in. Great defense from Washleski. Bolivar just kind of hanging down there. Is this front headlock position right here that was critical? It's what Coach Escobedo talked about. He said his guys need to get better at that. That's the main thing he saw, the main position he wanted to see them improve upon. Score on top and not get scored on bottom after watching his guys compete at the Battle of the Citadel.
Yeah, he had them sit down before practice and talked about it, and then they worked on it for nearly an entire hour. Riley, you're a wrestler yourself, but that's quite rare to dedicate almost 75% of practice to one position. I know it's very important and a very useful position, but Bolivar was in it just a second ago, got out, and now we have a takedown.
Washleski with a beautiful single leg and trip. It was Bolivar that tried to escape outside of the mat. Nothing doing. Washleski able to collect both of the ankles and secure the 3-point takedown. And Washleski will get paused for a caution, encouraging him to not necessarily press too much down when he gets ready to start on top over Bolivar.
When you look at Bolivar's style, he's not a guy that likes to go down early. You look at him at the Citadel. All 3 of his wins were by decision. He doesn't score too much. He gets ran out of bounds here. They're going to reset them. So going down 3, not the end of the world, but he needs to bounce back because he went 16-4 last year, only 6 wins by major decision. He's strong, he wears you down, and he's really good at defending once he gets up. Currently trails by 3.
Bronx leading the Hoosiers 12-7 here inside Simon Scott Assembly Hall. We're at the 157 bout in the second period, 33 seconds to go. Nico Bolivar gets the escape over Colton Washleski, and we're back to our feet. Nico was talking to me about pretty much this entire past year. He's been on kind of a faith journey, a vision quest of his own. You know, a lot of times he's been really struggling with looking into the future and not necessarily focusing on the present, and he's been really, tapping into that. He's been able to focus a lot more. He's been going to Salt Company, which is a Christian student group down here at IU. Said his faith has really played into this improvement that he's been seeing. He actually went into this 7-day anxiety, helper here on the Bible app that he had, and it's really just been, he's just been able to just focus and been able to not worry about the future, focus on the present, and know that looking into the future is only detrimental, and you got to have a short memory here in wrestling, Luke.
Absolutely, Riley. It's really cool sometimes to see the character and people of these college athletes. And, NIL and that new legislation the last couple of years has affected that. But something like that, super cool that Nico in his senior year really coming into his own, finding what he cares about. And he's
huge
slammed
mat
right
return
now
by Washleski. And Bolivar, to his credit, back up to his feet, fighting hands at the edge of the mat right in front of us. Washleski with another return, gets ran out of bounds right in front of us. And I tell you what, on the screen, if you're watching at home, some of these guys, at 157, 165, they don't look the biggest, but when you're up close and personal to them, Luke, they're pretty big.
Oh, boy, does Washleski look good. He is every single bit of 157.
Has 45 seconds of riding time. Bolivar trying to prevent that 1 minute and that bonus as Washleski is up 3-1. Bolivar gets the critical escape.
Cuts this one to just a 1-point bout. Washleski 6-16 as Rider starter at 157. Leads right now midway through the second period. Could be a huge one to start his junior year.
Nico Bolivar wrestled at the Tournament of Champions and the Greyhound Open unattached a couple of years ago. As we mentioned, kind of just a guy that's been biding his time, wrestling in the room, working hard. How tough is that, I guess, Luke? You put in the same time as all these other guys. As Nico Bolivar in and around trying to trip him over.
Trying to get behind.
There's the takedown from Bolivar.
How about Nico flipping the script in the second period?
Bolivar with a mat return outside the ring.
Keeping that left foot in right now, Riley. He's trying to score.
Keep draining it down, and now we finally go out of bounds. How about Nico Bolivar turning the tables?
Getting the bench into it. Escobedo off his feet. Dan Fongero off his feet. This is a great team when it comes to the camaraderie aspect. They're all together. We hit on Hangy saying how close this Rider team is. They've shown us that. They've came out ready to battle. IU looking to come back trailing by 5, and this has been a huge period for Nico Bolivar.
Washleski gets the escape. Nico Bolivar able to take down a little bit of that riding time for Washleski. He's now at 36 seconds. 30 seconds to go here in the second period. Bolivar with a 1-point lead.
Riley, I talked about Nico and his ability to increase riding time, wear you down and get on top when he gets a lead. He now leads by slim, just a 1-point lead, but 16-4 last year, 9 wins were bonus point victories. So look for Nico to really start and push the issue here on Washleski, just the junior.
Bolivar with a couple of head fakes. Back down shot fakes as we head into the third period. 5-4 in favor of the Hoosier as Washleski chooses down. So I'm interested to see here, Luke, in this situation, Washleski doesn't have a minute left, so you don't technically have to, tick that down, but you would certainly like to increase that and maybe get a 1 minute of your own in your advantage if you're Bolivar.
Absolutely. Riley, isn't it crazy with the transfer portal and the COVID year that these guys picked up, that you can be a junior wrestler and be considered young? Because that just came out of my mouth. And we were talking to some guys on IU's team who aren't wrestling today at Monday morning's practice, and they were like, when you're a freshman coming into an environment like this at 18 years old, you're squaring off against 24, 25-year-olds at times in college wrestling.
We talked to Clayton Fielden, was one of the guys. He's 25 years old, he said, and he said, I'm old. He was thinking about it. That's his comment to us. Precarious position. Washleski trying to drag Bolivar back in. Bolivar with a split step action right here. Washleski trying to shelf the ankle. Great job by Bolivar. Look at the athleticism. No takedown yet as Washleski still has the feet in. Nothing doing yet.
Bolivar continuing to battle would be huge if he could escape this.
Close call as Washleski sits him on his butt. No call. They're going to call it out of bounds. And wow, the Rider Bronx bench is furious. And here comes the challenge brick from John Hangy. You hear one of the Rider wrestlers saying that he had the takedown 3 separate times. I don't know, it's great defense from Bolivar. We're going to probably get a replay here in a couple seconds just to kind of observe. You know, again, the officials were watching there all the way. I thought at one point in time that Washleski sat Bolivar down on his butt and had his hands around the ankles. That would be a takedown, technically speaking, but if Bolivar was able to keep that butt up, here we go.
I love how composed Bolivar is. I don't know if he's going to get away with this unscathed after the brick was thrown, but he's not panicking in this situation, Riley. He stays deliberate to what he is taught, and, you know, they let him escape. They're looking at it at the review table right now.
Wow.
But the senior from Oak Park,
that is very, very
close.
close.
This could be a crucial call, Riley.
I'm not going to lie, Luke. We might see an overturn here. That might be a takedown for Washleski. It was, I mean, it was very, very close. But you're absolutely right. Not panicking if you're Bolivar, able to just keep your composure, keep battling. But this is a huge call. This is the biggest call of the match. If Washleski gets this takedown with 1 minute left, that puts Bolivar in a pretty tough position. Here we go again. So he's got the leg, and Bolivar's on his butt. I mean, earlier on, it looked like that was the most takedown out of all of them. As it went on, it kind of went away from him because Bolivar kind of got him in a perpendicular position. But I don't know. That looked like a takedown initially because Bolivar was sat down kind of on his side, too. And Washleski had the ankle, had the arm. I don't know.
Riley, how about the overall showing that we're getting out of the Rider Bronx? They came in here, and we talked about it in the open. I said, Riley, look out. This is a team that comes in together. They're ready, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull off a Big Ten upset. This call is enormous when it comes for Bolivar and the sake of this bout with Washleski, but also for the sake of the team scores. Because now we're going to head into the final 59 seconds of the third period, potentially tied, or the Bronx with a 3-point lead because of Colton Washleski's incredible play and incredible pace thus far for the first 2.5 periods.
Both wrestlers pacing back and forth on their separate sides. Rider last year, 3 NCAA qualifiers. We'll take another look at this. See, it looks like that's a takedown right there. They might not have been calling it because Nico had control of one of Washleski's wrists that prevented him from coming around and grasping around the back and around the body to get full control. That might be why they're staying away from calling that takedown. But as I mentioned, Rider, 3 NCAA qualifiers last year. All 3 of those, Mackenzie Bell, Quinn Kenner, and Ethan Laird. Bell and Kenner obviously returning this year.
Looking at Washleski.
So it looks like the officials holding up the 3. And as I suspected, it looks like this call is going to be overturned and Washleski's going to be awarded the takedown.
Going to add some time to the clock. Now 1:04 remains. Colton Washleski, we weren't harping on him, but 6-16 last year. Didn't come in here with too much for us to talk about. 2021-22 season, he was red-shirted, was 7-6. He had 1 fall, but he had a 15-7 major decision over Navy's number 35 in the country, Logan Scioto, at the Patriot Open. This is a big-time performance for him against Nico Bolivar, who's on the ropes, down 3 with 1 minute to go.
Nico Bolivar facing the adversity with his back against the wall as Washleski rides him out of bounds, and the officials, or rather the fans here at Assembly Hall, want a stalling call. You cannot do that too much if you're the top rider, Luke. You cannot just push the guy out of bounds. You have to work to get takedowns and keep the matchup going. As Washleski attempts a mat return. Great balance there by Bolivar. 50 seconds left here at 1:57. Washleski's got to do something here as he turns Bolivar back over. Still inside as Washleski keeps that left foot in bounds.
He's now over a minute in riding time, Riley. That is huge considering if Bolivar can get a takedown, unless that 1:04 shrinks, Washleski's going to pick up an extra point.
Washleski playing with fire here. He leads 8-5. If he's able to keep the ride time, he'd win by 4. 35 seconds left here at 1:57. Rider 12, Indiana 7. Washleski went for the mat return once again. Bolivar rolls through. Granby's through. Looking around. Switches off to a double. Heavy hips from Washleski, though.
both benches and coaching staff getting into this one. 16 seconds remain, Riley.
Crowd on their feet. Wanting the call for the escape. I don't know if they're going to get it as Wasilewski climbs the tree and gets him out of bounds.
He officially has the riding time point secured. This looks like it's going to go in Colton's direction. The Broncs are fired up.
Man, what a win for Colton Wasilewski over Nico Bolivar. Wasilewski goes to the spiral ride. Just going to try and hold this one out at 157. How about the Ryder Broncs as we head to 165? 9-5 decision for Wasilewski over Nico Bolivar. And Ryder leads 15-7.
Wow. Feels like you can hear us all the way in the rafters right now, Riley. They've sucked all the energy out of Simon Scott Assembly Hall. The Hoosier bench looks defeated, and the Broncs the complete opposite. I think the key has been the Broncs have finished every single one of these bouts. They have so much energy and endurance, whether that's coming from the road atmosphere and feeding off that with a chip on their shoulder. But this team is obviously connected, like Coach Hange said. Massive matchup here we have in the 165-pound weight class coming up.
It's Derek Gilcher, the senior. He did not compete at the Battle of the Citadel Invitational, so this is his first action here in 2023, the senior from Novi, Michigan. Last year, 25-15. He was an NCAA qualifier. He went 1-2 at the NCAA's 9 bonus point victories, 7 ranked wins.
The Broncs currently lead 15-7 now. This could be a weight class they could potentially run away with. Who would have thought?
Cole McComas, the senior from Ryder East Liverpool, Ohio. He went to Beaver Local. Last year, 30-9, wrestling unattached, 6th at the Princeton Open. Gilcher inside, front headlock position, will reset on our feet at neutral.
Talked about Jersey and Pennsylvania being really good wrestling states when it comes to the high school level, Riley. This guy's out of East Liverpool, Ohio, a great wrestling state as well. Had a school record 172 career wins. He took his redshirt year actually last year after wrestling his first 2 seasons. Went 30-9 wrestling unattached though. But he has a tough task with Gilcher, the 18th ranked wrestler in the weight class.
Gilcher with a heavy snap down. Again, that front headlock position critical. Gilcher and McComas on the edge of the mat.
Gilcher, a 3-time state champion, 106-17 in high school, career 34-25 wrestler, was 25-15 last year, qualified for the NCAAs, and he defeated 7 ranked wrestlers. So he shows up when Escobedo and his team's calling him the most currently a ranked wrestler himself.
3-time state champion at Detroit Central Catholic. Last year, 8 at the Big Tens, 3rd at the Midlands, and 5th as he competed over the summer in the preseason at the 2023 Senior U.S. Open Freestyle Championships at 74 kilos. Stalemate, and we will reset at center mat. Man, how about this, Luke? Ryder 15-7 over Indiana. They are in the driver's seat as we close out this dual meet.
Absolutely. I don't think Coach Hange could have drawn up a better situation. John Hange comes in his 7th season. This could be one of his most impressive wins of his career. Obviously, 6-1, co-MAC East champs. They had a couple ranked wins, but he was elite as a wrestler, and he's turning this program into one of, if not the best in the MAC, in complete control, like you said, at Simon Scott Assembly Hall.
We are sub 1 minute to go here at 165 pounds. McComas in deep on a single leg. Gilcher with a hard, heavy whizzer.
I will say this, Riley. If you're Angel Escobedo and your team is down 8 points right now, like we said, Ryder in complete control of this duel right now, I think Gilcher would be the guy that he likes to send out. The senior, he's consistent. He's been nationally ranked most of last season, so this is a guy, he's a big glue guy. We saw him at practice on Monday. I'd be confident with Gilcher on the mat in this spot.
Gilcher with some pretty solid wins last year in conference and in dual meet action. Chase Saldate, Patty Gallagher, and Michael North. Had a big breakout year. It's a whizzer from McComas as it's Gilcher in on the shot. Precarious position here on the edge of the mat. Short time and nothing doing. Great defense from both wrestlers in the late stages of the first period as we go to period 2, scoreless.
It's going to be something we're going to see a lot less of now with the new aggressive rules and especially the three-point takedown. 0-0 after the first period. Very surprised.
McComas elects to go bottom. Gilcher will start on top. McComas immediately up to his feet. Derek Gilcher, we know him for his mat returns. Can he get one to go? McComas did a great job of blocking the hands of Gilcher, able to get away. He was known as Mr. Mat Return last year, Luke. Had some absolutely explosive and incredible mat returns and takedowns last year. Gilcher just so explosive. He was actually wrestling at 157 last year. Bulked up, has a little bit more muscle on him at 165. I think that's a scary thought if you're the rest of the 165 class here in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. I think it's a scary thought for the Bronx when you talk about athleticism and the lineup of Hoosiers that we have next. Of course, Gilcher on the mat right now, but how about DJ Washington waiting in the locker room next up at 174? Talk about explosive, and then Rogatsky after him. So IU has some stallions coming up. They trail right now in the second, 1-0 in this bout.
Both the wrestlers still kind of feeling each other out in this process. We've seen a couple shots from both sides. But each wrestler unable to create that angle and unable to get that perfect shot as Gilcher attempts a shot. Nice defense there by McComas. 45 seconds to go here in the second period. Gilcher tries a shot in space. Reshot, no good. Heavy hand fighting from both wrestlers, man. Both those guys not giving an inch.
Gilcher on the right wrist right now, going for that right leg. He can't get there.
McComas in the front headlock position. We're on the edge of the mat once again. 28 seconds and counting here in period 2 at 165.
McComas, although it's just a 1-point lead right now, he's doing an incredible job defensively. Gilcher went for the right ankle, then the right hamstring, then went across to the left. Unsuccessful on all three.
Gilcher trying to double off, shelves the leg. 8 seconds, pulling McComas back in. Locked around the body, nothing doing. Keeps his leg in. Wow. That's the takedown with 1 second left.
Beats
How about that
buzzer.
from Derek Gilcher?
Unbelievable. Great way to end the second period. Finally gets the crowd involved, gets the bench on their feet. The Hoosiers lead in a big-time weight class as we head into the third and final period.
And most of Assembly Hall sleepy up to this point in time. The Rider Bronx doing a great job of silencing the crowd early, but sensing that a Hoosier is going to be back on top and can get this win, get them right back into this dual meet.
I don't think it's going to come easy, Riley, especially with the way that the Bronx have wrestled down the stretch come the third period of every single one of these bouts. This is far from over.
Gilcher gets the escape. McComas back deep on a shot. Nice sprawl back from Gilcher, trying to work back around.
Look for Gilcher to make a move right here.
Obviously, in this situation, Luke, you're thinking bonus points if you're Gilcher and the Hoosiers.
Riding time pretty much dead even right now.
Yeah, 2 seconds in favor of Gilcher. Still have about 22 seconds to start getting something going if either of these wrestlers want to do something with riding time, but I don't think it's going to be a factor. Gilcher blasts through the shot and gets the takedown.
Huge three there. They now lead 7-1. This could be big for team points if Gilcher can continue to force the issue.
Some of the IU fans here spurring on Gilcher to cut McComas. Let him get back to his feet and get another escape. McComas in on a shot, able to take advantage, trying to climb the tree. He's in on a single leg from Gilcher.
I don't know, Riley. I think Gilcher might have been doing a little too much there over on the sideline. He had complete control, was increasing his riding time. The bench telling him to make a move, he does. And now, looks like McComas is in a little bit of a comeback situation.
30 seconds and counting here at 165. Stalemate called on the edge of the mat. It was a heck of a fight out there by McComas. Gilcher still with a 7-2 lead, and I believe there was no change called, so McComas, or rather there was change, so with that, 7-2, and we go neutral with 25 seconds to go. 5-point match. If Gilcher's able to get the takedown, he will get the major.
Talk about instant impact with the new rule change. Looking for the major and a takedown. Has 13 seconds to do it. Going for the right hamstring, and then ran out of bounds.
IC shot Pushes McComas out of bounds. Will reset with 12 seconds left. They warn McComas for stalling.
Gilcher, the senior, knows what he has to do. His team would love a
Here
takedown
comes
right
Gilcher.
now.
Locked up around the body. Dangerous position. 5 seconds left.
Will he beat the buzzer, Riley?
Great wizard by McComas and no takedown. Wow, what a fight by Cole McComas to avoid the major. But Gilcher with a 7-2 victory gets Indiana right back in it. And the score now is 15-10.
Gilcher, the senior, delivers for Angel Escobedo's team. Should be very proud of himself as he gets a huge round of applause heading back into the locker room. Riley, the Bronx still lead 15-10, but a massive pickup for Gilcher and the Hoosiers there with the decision.
And now we go to 174, and a guy that these Hoosier fans are very familiar with, DJ Washington, ranked number 10 according to Intermat at his weight class at 174, the redshirt senior from Portage, Indiana. Last year, 25-9, 10-3 in duels. He had 17 bonus point victories. He will be taking on Michael Wilson, the grad student from Annandale, New Jersey. He went to North Hunterdon last year at 165 is where he wrestled. As Washington immediately in on a shot, and he's got the takedown.
These guys are two of the most athletic dudes in the building, Riley. DJ, look for him to be exceptional early. However, if DJ gets late into this bout, he really struggles in the third period. He's one of the best wrestlers in all of college wrestling in the first 2 periods, so he really wants to put Michael Wilson away early.
Running out of gas, a cause for concern for DJ. Early on in his career, DJ locked around the body. You don't want to go upstairs with him, and there's another takedown for Washington. Fast and furious, and Washington just walking it off. Stoic as always on the face of DJ.
This guy's a career 70-34 wrestler. Went 25-9 in 22-23 season as a redshirt junior, 10-3 in duels. Probably the best or most consistent wrestler on this team, especially in this weight class. DJ Washington has been a treat for Escobedo and their staff.
Michael Wilson bumping up. He was at 165 last year, 27-11. He finished 5th at the MAC championships, in high school. New Jersey State placer. He got 7th at 160 pounds his senior year. His father, John, is an MLB scout, actually, for the Twins. Has been there for quite some time. His brother, John, also plays baseball at Old Dominion. So athletics and sports runs in the Wilson family, Luke.
Absolutely. Annandale, New Jersey native, 6'1" grad student. But Michael Wilson, just a freak athlete. I would not be surprised if I found out this guy was a multi-sport athlete in high school. Just the build on him, of course, DJ as well. This is going to be a very entertaining 3 periods if it goes there.
DJ Washington,
wow.
Beautiful blast double and a takedown once again. Man, DJ Washington, explosive, quick, athletic. Don't know what hit you.
Riley, don't look now, but the Indiana Hoosiers pick up a big win by decision last time.
Look out! Huge mat return from Washington as we go out of bounds. Washington just shrugging it off. You got a couple coaches over there kind of telling Washington to calm down just a little bit. But Washington in firm control and showing no signs of slowing down. That's just pretty, Luke.
Washington has the wrestling style that the NCAA loves, especially with these rule changes. All gas, no brakes, and that sometimes hurts him down the stretch when he runs out of steam. But he wants to forget about 3 periods. He wants to put these bouts away early and often. DJ Washington, what a stud.
1 minute to go in the first period here at 174 pounds. DJ Washington leads Michael Wilson 9-3. Ryder with a 15-10 lead over the Hoosiers here inside Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Washington posting on the head. It's Wilson that answers with a hard collar tie. Over-under position here at the neutral position. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you do not want to go upstairs with DJ Washington, known for his throws.
DJ Washington a little bit less aggressive the last 30 seconds. They back off, stay in neutral, a little bit of hand fighting here. Has
Washington
the left leg.
in once again, trying to keep him in, and he does! Wilson on his back! Officials haven't started the swipes yet. There it is! Got the takedown and 2 near fall. DJ Washington, how do you like me now?
A brick comes from the Bronx sideline about the swipes.
I believe John Hangy will challenge that. We'll take another look here, man. Great takedown once again by DJ Washington. Body lock able to keep him on the mat. Shoulders are not past a 45-degree angle there yet, Luke. The official swiped one time and then stopped. We'll take another look at the replay here in just a second. But, man, you're absolutely right. DJ Washington, as I talked to you about this before we came on the air, he is probably the best in the nation at 184, at 174, in whatever weight class he's wrestling in the first period and a half.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the scoreboard. 14 points, Riley.
Yeah.
Obviously on pace for an absolute bomb of a number, but DJ, he doesn't want to wrestle for 9 minutes. He wants to put these away. What a start. And I got into this point earlier, and DJ kind of shut me down because he had an incredible takedown that we had to talk about. Don't look now, but the Indiana Hoosiers, they win with Gilcher in the weight class before. They now lead 14-3, looking for a tech fall. Washington trying to put away Michael Wilson early, and all the momentum at Simon Scott Assembly Hall is now shifting to the home 10 Big Ten host.
John Hangy still talking with the official. The two swipes will stand for near fall, so Washington with a 14-3 lead. His expression has not changed the entire time he's been out there, Luke.
5 seconds left, going for another takedown.
Just trying to ride him out and prevent the escape, and he does. Impressive performance from DJ Washington as the opening period comes to a close here at 174.
This first minute, Riley, of the second period is enormous for DJ Washington. He can either get an escape right now, add another point to his tally.
And there you go. Up 15-3 now as Washington. Quick escape, blast double again. Stays in on the edge of the mat. 18-3. We go out of bounds, and that is the tech fall. DJ Washington. How about a little sizzle at the end of that match? 18-3.
DJ Washington, unbelievable. Could there have been a better time? And he's getting the crowd into it, pacing around the mat. How about DJ filling it up at Assembly Hall?
Saying circle the wagons, and he gets the Hoosier fans back into it. We are all tied up at 15 apiece. How about that? Ryder and Indiana locked up at 15. We didn't really get a chance to talk about it, but DJ Washington last year, an NCAA qualifier for the third time in his career. 2-2 at the NCAAs. He's a two-time IHSA state placer in his career at Portage High School. And let's go toss it back to Josie Broyles.
Thanks, guys. There's a lot of things riding on this stool. Hoosiers' second time in Assembly Hall since last year when they knocked off number 23 Princeton in a victorious win, 22-13. This is a big deal because it's only the second time that Assembly Hall is hosting a wrestling match since the 2017 Big Ten Championships. But the energy here is great. We have Bronx fans in the stands. We have Hoosier fans. It's looking amazing. Pass it back to you guys.
Hey, thanks, Josie. We welcome you back. Riley Woodall, Luke Brenneman here on the call with you on Big Ten Plus. The Indiana Hoosiers hosting the Ryder Bronx here inside Simon Scott Assembly Halls. We got a takedown here at 184. An impressive performance from DJ Washington. A tech fall 18-3. Knots this dual meet up at 15 apiece, and we got two weight classes to go, Luke.
Rogatsky goes down early, Riley. Something to look out for. This guy's a transfer from South Dakota State. He's just a redshirt sophomore. So Washington gets us all tied up at 15 all. Now we're bringing in a sophomore for the Hoosiers. Can he continue their momentum?
Rogatsky went for a shot, unable to finish. He's trying to go for the Peterson. It's a takedown for Ryder, and we're back up to our feet, 6-2. And here comes the challenge pick thrown by one of the newest additions to this Indiana coaching squad. It's CJ Redd, who had an impressive career at Nebraska. Did a feature on him last year. The Hoosiers are super excited to have him on the team. He brings a wealth of experience, and he's always wanted to be a college coach for wrestling. I think they're going to look at if he had control there to get the reversal. I think that's what they're looking at right now.
I saw Dan Fongaro get up and step all the way onto the mat, yelling at the official because of a rule change this offseason he was harping on them. You forgot that they changed the rule, and we hit it down to Josie earlier to talk about these rule changes. Fongero really pointing out some mishaps if they were to reverse this call because it warranted the brick from the sideline. And to your point about CJ Red, this guy's as fun as it gets when it comes to an assistant coach. He actually pinned Jacob Moran twice at the end of practice on Monday and just some fun, a little wrestling towards the end. These guys never want to leave the mat. They're a very connected team. Moran did not wrestle in the 125 weight class for the Hoosiers, but CJ Red had his way with Jacob Moran on Monday morning.
CJ Red bringing an energy and excitement and an explosive style of wrestling as an assistant coach here on the IU squad. Really encouraging them. And it kind of goes hand in hand as the changes that came, as you mentioned, in the offseason, Luke, awarding more of an aggressive style. And CJ Red at his time at Nebraska was absolutely on fire. So fun to watch every single match. The son of Chad Red, who actually coaches at Red Cobra, training the next generation of wrestlers in Brownsburg, Indiana. As we finish up discussion here.
Riley, I recommend all at home, whether you're just tuning in or not or know anything about Isaac Dean, you should look up his viral video takedown versus George Mason last year. The flying squirrel is what they call it. This one took the internet by storm. 184-pound weight class, but Dean, one of the best athletes in all of college wrestling. I'll go as far as saying that.
The flying squirrel is, a practice special takedown, Luke. I'll tell you that. Don't know necessarily if we see it as much at the competitive level when all the cameras are out, when all the lights are on, but a crazy wrestler by the name of Austin DeSanto with his erratic and energetic style when he was at Iowa a couple years ago. He was known for putting it all on the table, and he would, at one point in time, he had a match at the NCAAs where he actually did a cartwheel over a guy to get a takedown. I mean, man, you never know what you're going to see. Dean in on a single leg, trying to double off. Nice sprawl back there from Rogatsky, just trying to hold on. Isaac Dean up 6-2 at 184. As we're 1:10 to go here in the first period. Knotted up at 15 apiece between the Bronx and the Hoosiers.
Coach John Hange for the Bronx really wants consistency out of Isaac Dean. He was 92-24 in high school, so it's about as dominant as it gets. And then you look at last year, just 7-16, seeing times at duels in 184. So yeah, he had the flying squirrel. Yeah, he's a freak athlete. The ceiling is about as high as Simon Scott Assembly Hall, but he needs to stay consistent, stay within himself in the mat, and he's doing very well in the first period against Roman Rogatsky.
From Medford, New Jersey, he went to Shawnee High School, 94-24 in his prep career, 2021 state runner-up. He's the 2020-2021 Athlete of the Year in his area. Last year, wrestling at 174, 7-16, 1-6 in duels.
This weight class tells us who's going to have the lead as we head into our final bout at Simon Scott Assembly Hall.
Rogatsky looking for an interesting looking takedown. Don't really know exactly what he was going for there. Dean fends it off very well.
Both these guys have unique styles of wrestling.
Both wrestlers holding their noses.
One thing about Rogatsky
that's clinching his eye a little bit. Sorry, I think he got poked in the face a little bit by Dean. I'm going to reset, and here we go. Go ahead.
Looking at him at the Citadel, he goes 4-1. But the most interesting part about Rogatsky, he's getting his left leg worked on right now at the ankle area.
Dean doubles off. No takedown awarded yet.
Rogatsky lost his first matchup at the Citadel to Hunter Adams of App State. Proceeded to win 4 straight bouts, 3 of those by fall, and the final by major decision. Claimed 3rd place in the weight class. So after a very disappointing upset in the opening round, after transfer to Bloomington, he turned it on, and I think that's something that Coach Escobedo is going to want out of his guy in the latter half of these final 2 periods. He loses the first, now 6-2. What does he have left in the tank to turn this thing around and get the Hoosiers more points on the board?
Rogatsky, the redshirt sophomore, he's trailing 6-2 over the junior Isaac Dean. As we head into period 2, Dean defers and Rogatsky will take down. At South Dakota State last year, Rogatsky was 17-8. He had 9 bonus point victories. He was first at the Worthington and Don Park Open. His prep career, he went to East Ride and Stillwater High School. two-time state placer. He had 158 pins.
Very interesting decision there. Dean just giving up the free escape for Rogatski. Gets him another point on the board, and now this could be a tie duel, a tied up bout if Rogatski can get a 3-point takedown.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the different styles across the different weight classes, Luke. Sometimes there are guys that aren't as confident at the top position, so they want to just save their energy and not necessarily ride them out, and I think that's the case for Dean as Rogatski. And on that front headlock position, as we mentioned, a key that Angel Escobedo talked to us about, a key position. Rogatski going for the inside trip. Dean just shucks it by and gets the takedown.
Rogatski a little too aggressive there. Dean turns defense into offense and picks up a huge 3 to go up 6. Rogatski gets a point for the escape,
Rogatski with the 1-point escape, and the official will stop it once again. Both these guys really heavy hand fighters, and that's kind of been affecting them as both of them have been poked in the eyes a couple of different times and in the face a couple of different times throughout this matchup.
Talked about Rogatski and winning 3 of his matches at the Citadel by fall and then 1 by major decision. In his redshirt freshman season, 17-8 of his 17 wins, 9 of them were bonus point victories, including 7 pins and 2 wins of major decisions. So trailing 9-4 in the latter half of the second period, Riley, this is an uncomfortable situation for the sophomore out of South Dakota State.
Rogatski, awkward looking position, trying to climb through. He keeps the ankle. Dean in trouble. Can Rogatski try and come out the back door, peek through position? He's just got to sit that other leg out. Nothing called there. Ooh, almost a danger zone for Isaac Dean.
The crowd is getting into it at Assembly Hall. Both benches all rise as Rogatski looks to turn over Dean.
Rogatski trying to go for the wing on Dean. He gets the takedown, 9-7 with 5 seconds to go here in period 2 at 184.
Dean is just grounding himself with that right elbow, and that's going to take us into the end of the second period. The strength from the 184-pounder Isaac Dean. He leads
9-7 in favor of Dean. Here you go, that peek through position. Rogatski able to roll through. Great job by Dean there to not give his back up and expose his back to get those extra swipes, give up those extra points. But they did award the takedown to Rogatski, and it's a 9-7 match. Dean will start this period on bottom.
Both of these guys visibly exhausted, Riley.
Breathing hard out there, taking some deep breaths, some longer breaths. Dean up to his feet. Rogatski locked around the body, trying to go for the inside trip, unable to maintain control, and that's a 2-point reversal. Just a scrambled position and just a little bit too much momentum. Rogatski going out of bounds as Dean was able to get the reversal.
Dean has gotten 5 of his 11 points from playing defense. Rogatski too aggressive near the end of the mat, and Dean with the reversal there, just like his takedown earlier. Rogatski just kind of twitchy and jumping at him, and Dean just turning right around the backside and picking up the points.
Dean cuts him, and Rogatski goes right back to work, in on a single leg, similar looking position. Dean just trying to hold on. Rogatski comes out the front, takedown, near fall points, there's the takedown, there's the pin!
This place
Roman
is
Rogatski
rocking.
brings Assembly Hall to its feet. Are you kidding me?
Roman Rogatski, how do you do? The redshirt sophomore in his first bout in a dual meet as an Indiana Hoosier with the pin late in the third period.
With 1:23 left to go in the third period, Roman Rogatski in one swift motion. Similar looking position here. Here we go, peek through position. Rogatski comes out the front and just catches Dean. There was nothing Dean could do there, Luke. Just got caught in the position. And wow, just like that, 21-15, Indiana takes the lead.
Everybody hyping up Rogatski. Fell hard in that first period. Really didn't look good, but to my point earlier about Isaac Dean, Riley, one of the most inconsistent wrestlers period to period. Yeah, he's athletic. Yeah, he can bring instant energy, but he did not finish that bout. And Rogatski, what an incredible pin to put the Hoosiers up 6. And don't look now, but the Broncs are drawing dead.
The last weight class of the dual meet at 197. We started the night at heavyweight. It was a forfeit. 6 points went to Ryder. Back and forth action all the way through. The Hoosiers coming in the clutch moments. Roman Rogotsky up, gets the pin, middle of the third period, and gets his team back in front by 6, 21-15 in favor of the Hoosiers. Gabe Sollers will get the start for Indiana at 197, 4-0 at the Battle of the Citadel. He was a champion, redshirt freshman, now into a freshman from Evansville, Indiana. Went to Evansville Mater Dei High School, two-time IHSA state champion at 184 and 195, three-time state placer. Meanwhile, for Azim Bell, the senior from Wilmington, Delaware, he went to AI DuPont High School last year, 5-6. Competed at the Keystone Classic, the Princeton Open, and the David Lehman Open.
I think this is a guy that if you're Angel Escobedo, you'd love to have defending your lead now after that pin. Although he's not the most experienced guy in the entire world, you can feel his confidence on the floor just walking around the mat early on. Gabe Sollers is very confident in his abilities, and I think he will defend this 6-point team lead.
Just look at that there, Luke. Azim Bell in on a shot, has a great look, locked around Gabe Sollers' body, and he just uses those strong hips to avoid the takedown. There's a takedown on the other side for Sollers on the edge of the mat.
The crowd is getting into it at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. How about that trifecta of wins for the Hoosiers, starting with Gilcher and ending not just yet. You know, they've won 3 straight bouts over the Bronx. Of course, Sollers looking to put them away. This has been an unbelievable run from the Hoosiers.
Both of these guys staring a hole through the entirety of space. They know what's at stake here. A little bit of extra pressure put on Azim Bell. The only way that he is able to tie this match up is if he is somehow able to pin the freshman Gabe Sollers.
Gabe Sollers is a tough guy to pin. He really grounds himself. He's strong, obviously, in the 197 weight class. Azim Bell, life is pretty difficult for this guy. You know, he's replacing Ethan Laird, who he was the backup to last year, the 197-pound weight class starter. And, you know, Laird was the best wrestler perhaps in program history, Riley. This guy was an All-American last season, and Azim Bell thrown in, down 6 in the final bout, replacing one of the best wrestlers in all of Ryder. And, I mean, he trails 3-0 right now.
Laird 6 at 197 at the 2023 NCAAs last year. He won the MAC title at 197 as well. You're absolutely right, Luke. Probably one of the best, if not the best wrestlers in program history for the Ryder Bronx. Azim Bell trying to step into his own. He's still got a little bit of time. You know, senior, got a couple extra years here and there. You know, you throw in the COVID year, you sometimes throw in a red shirt. Just trying to be able to get himself into that position and solidify himself as the starter at this weight class. He would be able to do that with a huge win over Gabe Sollers. As we are sub 15 seconds to go here in the first period, a tight, tough top ride by Gabe Sollers. He's got the side ride, trying to go for the crossface and get some extra swipes for near fall. Not gonna do it, and we head into the second period, 3-0 in favor of Sollers.
Looking back to Azim Bell's competitions in 21-22 season, he was 12-12 overall, but he was only 1-5 in dual matches, Riley. He struggles quite a bit in the duels. Right now he trails just by 3. He's gonna start on top for the second period.
And there's Sollers right back up to his feet. You know, probably the best position that Bell's going to have, because if Sollers is able to get on top, we saw it last year when he competed at the Purdue matchup. Sollers just follows around and gets the reversal. And we reset at center mat. But you talk about a guy like Gabe Sollers, Luke. Last year, he got that win at Purdue over Hayden Filipovich, who has some really strong hips and is a solid, strong, and built wrestler in his own right. Be excited to see if those two get to go at it again this year. Is a great matchup. Sollers last year 24-7. He was 2-2 in duels. He had 11 pins, which led the team, and he's been busy in the offseason as well. 6 at 92 kilograms at the under-20 U.S. Open in freestyle, as well as the under-20 World Team Trials.
You know, Riley, this guy's a winner. And when IU forfeited the heavyweight class and went down 6, he knew he was going to be the closer for this team. He's working right now, and we're swiping. There's 3. How about a fourth Gabe Sollers?
Got Gabe Sollers with 4 swipes here at 197,
This could be
trying
it.
to work Azim Bell over. He's in trouble.
Riley, are we going to see back-to-back pins?
Sollers with Bell on his back. Trying to finish the match.
Gabe
Here in
Sollers,
the second
the redshirt
period.
freshman.
Sollers right back to work as Bell turned over. Bell trying to stay alive.
Crowd staying into it at Simon Scott Assembly Hall.
Bell fighting with everything he's
There
got,
it
and there's the pin for Gabe Sollers. It puts an exclamation point for the Indiana Hoosiers here in their first dual meet of the 2023 season.
Unbelievable. The Bronx start with no possible better start. They win the majority of the first half of these bouts, and the closers from the Hoosiers, Gilcher, Washington, Sollers, unbelievable effort, and Gabe Sollers tucks in the Bronx, and the IU crowd is gonna go home happy.
You see the smile there from Gabe Sollers. He is happy as he celebrates with his team. Happy indeed as the Hoosier song is played here as it echoes through the halls of Assembly Hall. Gabe Sollers with 39 seconds left gets the pin over Azim Bell. 2 pins back-to-back, as you mentioned, 27-15. Indiana the final over Rider. And again, we knew it was going to be a very close and tightly contested matchup, Luke. We knew that it was going to come down to the wire. We knew that it was going to be weight class after weight class, punch after punch, and it looked like for a long time there that Rider was going to get the dub, but the Hoosiers coming in clutch and getting back-to-back pins to win it 27-15. We're going to go to the third member of our team, Josie Broyles. She's got IU head coach Angel Escobedo with her.
Hey guys, I'm here with Angel, head coach of IU's wrestling team. Angel, great win. How does it feel?
Feels great. You know, we started off kind of sluggish, but hey, it was exciting for the fans. I got a headache. But no, it was a lot of fun. I thought it was fun. Guys scored points, and our upper weights came back, and they want us to dual meet, which was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, we're here at Assembly Hall since last year's big win against Princeton.
Yep.
Do you think that gave your players any momentum? How do you think that feels?
I think so. I think last year, you know, our light guys kind of sparked us up, and this year now it was our backside. So I think, you know, we're excited to compete in here. I mean, it's an iconic stadium. When you look up the banners up there, 5 national champions been won in here, so it's like we got to come to compete and perform.
You have a few transfers on the team this year, like Dan Fungaro, who won his match. What do you think about that?
Great. I thought Dan did great. I thought Roman came through with the big pin at 184 transfer. So our transfers are fitting in well, and they're scoring us bonus points.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
Of course.
Yep, thanks.
Angel Escobedo gets his 22nd win in his career as a head coach here at IU. Thanks, Josie. He is going to be all smiles. He was absolutely right, though. He hit it right on the head, Luke. Indiana did not look good coming out of the gate, but it was the closers, the heavyweights, that got it done for him tonight.
And that's a little surprising. You know, DJ Washington was extremely hyped up when you talk about the upper weights, but them forfeiting the heavyweight class, you know, they lose early on with some of their ranked wrestlers like Rooks in that huge upset to Kinner, but how about the way the Hoosiers finish? And I think that's important for him because it's, yeah, your top guys didn't look great at your lower weights, but the fact that this team has the versatility, the depth to go deep into this one at Assembly Hall and pull out a huge win, back-to-back pins, Riley, it doesn't get better than that. That's Big Ten wrestling.
IU starts it off 1-0 on the year in duels. They start off with the win at the Battle at the Citadel. They win the tournament championship, and they win their first dual to meet of the year. 2-0 inside Assembly Hall, back-to-back years over Rider. They get the dub 27-15 over the Bronx. And for our production crew, as well as our producer, Max Cooper, our director, Michael Long, sideline reporter, Josie Broyles, the man to my right, Luke Brenneman, and our entire...
bro அது ஆன் பண்ணா எமோட்ஸ் காட்டாது ஸ்மூத்ல இருந்து ஏதோ சொல்றீங்க ஒன்றும் புரியல ஓகே அப்படி இல்லை ப்ரோ அவரு ஓஹோ அப்படி பிரைஸ் எவ்வளோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பிரைஸ் 500 செகண்ட் பிரைஸ் வந்து 300 ஓவரால் 800 பிரைஸ் ப்ரோ ஏன்னா மொத்தம் 8 டீம் உண்டு ஒரு டீமுக்கு ஒரு தலைக்கு 100 ரூபா வச்சு பார்த்தா கரெக்டாக இருக்கும் 800 பிரைஸ் இது ஒரே நாள்ல நடக்கும் ப்ரோ. இன்னைக்கு நடக்குதா? இன்னைக்கே முடிஞ்சிடும் ப்ரோ. அவ்வளவுதான். ஒன் டே ஃபுல் ஆக்சன்.
ப்ரோ ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண சொல்லிட்டாங்க பாருங்க.
இருபா.
ஓகே இப்போ ஓகே ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க ரிவர்ஸ் ப்ரோ.
இருபா. மை ரியல் நேம் டேவிட். ஓகே
ப்ரோ கார்டு கம்மியா இருக்கு ரிவர்ஸ் ப்ரோ.
பாய் மொத்தமே 7 மேட்ச் தான். எனக்கு சீக்கிரம் முடியும்.
Free
Jack
Fire
Friday.
India is
ஓகே
ஓகே அடுத்த மேட்ச் நண்பர்களே. அடுத்த மேட்ச் வந்து நம்ம ஒரு பெரிய மேட்ச் இருக்க போகுது. பாப்போம். இது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நம்ம இது ஓட்டிங் வச்சிரோம். யுவர் டீம். இப்போ நம்ம ஏசிஎஸ் பத்தி சொல்ல போனோம் அப்படின்னா ஏசிஎஸ் வந்து நம்ம கேரளால ஒரு நல்ல டீம், தரமான டீம்.
டீம் ஃபண்டாஸ்டிக் வந்து இன்னைக்கு தான் ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணிருக்காங்கல ரோல்ஸ் ப்ரோ இன்னைக்கு மேட்ச்ல ஸ்கிரிம்ஸ்ல.
ஆமா இன்னைக்கு தான் பாய்.
ஓகே அவங்க கேம்லயே பார்க்கலாம். 4 மொபைல் இருக்காங்க. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு அடிக்க வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. ஏன்னா இதெல்லாம் ஒரே கில்ல வந்துருக்காங்க. கனெக்ட் பண்ணி ஆடுவாங்க பார்ப்போம். ப்ரோ ஏசிஎஸ் பார்த்து ரோல்ஸ் ப்ரோ நம்ம டீம் ஃபண்டாஸ்டிக் ஆகும். அவங்க புது பிளேயர்ஸ் இருக்காங்க. எப்படி ஆடுறாங்க பார்ப்போம்.
கைஸ் ஓட்டு போடுங்க கைஸ். ஓட்டு போடுங்க. வாக்களிப்பீர். 2 டீம்ல ஏதாவது ஒரு டீமுக்கு.
First Blood.
ஓகே ப்ரோ டவுன் வச்சிட்டாங்க ப்ரோ. டீம் ஃபண்டாஸ்டிக்ல இருந்து ஒரு டவுன். ஏசிஎஸ் கன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிட்டாங்க கில். ஓகே வேற லெவல்.
போடு. ஐ திங்க் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பத்தியே நம்ம டிஎஃப்ல இருந்து கொடுத்துருக்காங்க டீம் ஃபண்டாஸ்டிக்ல இருந்து. சோ அப்கமிங் மேட்சஸ் ரவுண்ட்ஸ்ல வெயிட்னமா இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். பார்க்கலாம் என்ன
அதேதான் ப்ரோ. ப்ரோ சேனல் ப்ரோ 2v4 பாப்போம். அவரே ப்ரோ
அருமை டெரர் ஒரு அருமையா டவுன் பண்ணிருக்காரு. மீண்டும் டவுன் பண்ணி பாரா. ஓடு நிஞ்சா.
அதேதான் ப்ரோ. ஐயோ 4v4 2v4 2v2 மாதிரியா பாப்போம்.
அருமை நண்பர்களே.
அருமையா
2v4 ஆடிட்டு இருக்காங்க. சோ நம்ம ஏசிஎஸ் டாப்ஸ்ல ஒரே ஒருத்தர் தான் இருக்காரு. போல் டிஎஃப் பெல்ஃப் அப்புறம் ஆல்வின் தோர். பார்க்கலாம் டிஎஃப் போல அடிப்பாரா?
போல ஐயோ அடி நிஞ்சா வேற லெவல்ல எம்பிபி அட்டாக் மிஸ்டர் ஆகி வேற
ப்ரோச்சம் நல்ல பிளேயர். ஆமா ஒரு வெரி பிளேயர் ப்ரோ. வெரி ரிவல்ஸ் ஐ அம் ஃப்ரம் ஸ்ரீலங்கா. அருமை நண்பர்களே.
ரிவல்ஸ் ப்ரோ
சொல்லு பாய்.
இப்போ நான் கட் பண்ணிட்டு டீம் டிராக் மீல வர.
ஓகே பாய் ட்ரை பண்றேன். வாங்க 3-3-6 இன்னைக்கு கேஓ கலக்க போறாரு பாரு. ஓஹோ அப்படி பாப்பா நண்பர்களே. கேஓ பாய் எப்படி கலக்குறாருன்னு. பாய் லினிக்ஸ் பாய் கேஓ ப்ரோ டிஸ்கட்ல போய் நீ மேட்ச்க்கு முன்னாடி சொல்லிட்டு ஆயிரு. வேண்டாம் நான்
ரோல் இல்லையா ப்ரோ? எனக்கு ரோல் இல்ல.
லேய் சுட்டி
சொல்லுங்க ப்ரோ.
லேய் கேஓ பாய் டிஸ்கட்ல போய் அடுத்த மேட்ச் உங்களுக்கு தான் ரெடி ஆகுது இல்ல ராக்கரசர் ப்ரோ டீம் கூட. லேய் கேக்குதா பாட்டு?
பேஜ் சுட்டி டிஆர் பேர் ப்ரோ. ஒரு கமெண்ட் கொடுத்தா வரும் பாருங்க.
டிஆ வெளத்தியா பையன். டிஆ
அதேதான் ப்ரோ. சரி மேட்ச் பார்க்கலாம். வந்து நம்ம 4 பேர் டீம் ஃபண்டாஸ்டிக்ல சேர்ந்தே இருக்காங்க பாப்போம். ஆமா 4 பேர் ஏரியா வைஸ் போட்டாங்க. ஏரியா வைஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் வரவங்க வேற லெவல் ஆடுறாங்க ப்ரோ தமிழ் டீம் பாருங்க. ஐயோ ப்ரோச்சம் டவுன் எடுத்துட்டாரு. கிளியர் பண்ணிட்டாரு. ஓகே 3-4 ப்ரோ.
யாரு பண்ணா 150
ஒருமே வேற லெவல் வேற.
ராஜா லிங்கேசன் நான் காட்டுமான்னு தெரியல ப்ரோ.
பெர்ஃபார்ம் பண்ண விட மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க ப்ரோ. ஏசிஎஸ் ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ்
எமோட் போட மாட்டேங்க. எமோட் போட்டா போய் பிரியா இருக்கும். பார்க்கிறதுக்கு இன்ட்ரஸ்டிங்கா இருக்கும். ஜாலியா இருக்கும்.
அப்படி ஒருத்த மன உளைச்சல் ஆகுறதுல அப்படி உங்களுக்கு ஒரு ஆனந்தம். ரீல்ஸ் ப்ரோ என்ன இது? ஐயோ ரீல்ஸ் ப்ரோ நீங்க வாங்க ப்ரோ. ஒரு நாள் உங்க பிடிச்சு போட்டு எமோட் போட்டு தரேன் வாங்க.
பாய் நாளைக்கு பரம்பரையா பிடிச்சி பாருங்க.
ஒருத்த மன உளைச்சல் ஆகுறதுல அப்படி உங்க என்ன ஆனதுன்னு கேக்குறேன். பாப்போம். சரி ப்ரோ நாங்க பாருங்க வர மேட்ச்ல நாங்க போடுற எமோட்டை மட்டும் பாருங்க.
பாய் எமோட் எல்லா டீமுக்கும் போடு பாய். அப்பதான் போய் பெரிய ஆவாங்க. நம்ம எமோட் போடணும். வேற எந்த டீமும் போட மாட்டாங்க. நீங்க தான் போடணும். சரியா? கேஓ ப்ரோ டீம் தான் கேஓ ப்ரோ டீமுக்கும் போடுங்க. ஐயோ நிஞ்சா அடிச்சு.
ஐயோ கேஓ ப்ரோ அடுத்து அவரே குடும்பத்தை எடுப்பாரு வந்து.
ஐயோ அடிச்சாங்க.
ஐயோ
ஓகே 2v4 சிட்டிஸ்லாம் இருக்காங்க. ஐயோ 1v4 சிட்டிஸ்லாம் இருக்காங்க. நம்ம ப்ரோ மட்டும் இருக்காங்க.
பாப்போம். யூல்ஸ் மாடரே டபுள் அட்டாக். ஐயோ ப்ரோசம் நல்ல ஒரு ஸ்னைப். ஓகே மேட்ச் முடிச்சிட்டாங்க 0-3 ன்னு. ஓகே எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு டீம் ஃபண்டாஸ்டிக் ஒரு கம்பேக் கொடுக்கணும். பாப்போம். நாலுமே மொபைல் பிளேயர்ஸ் அதனால கொஞ்சம் ஸ்ட்ரகிள் ஆகுறாங்க.
கண்டிப்பா
நெக்ஸ்ட் டே வரும்போது ப்ரோ நெக்ஸ்ட் டே வரும்போது எல்லாமே பிசி ஒரு 2 பிசி வச்சு வாங்க 2 பிசி 2 மொபைல். அப்பதான் உங்களுக்கு ஈக்குவலா இருக்கும். அப்பதான் ஈஸியா உங்களுக்கு எப்படி சொல்ல கரெக்டா ஈக்குவல் ஆப்போசிட் அடியும் ஈக்குவலா இருக்கும். வந்து ஒரு மேன் பவர் ஒரு ஆள் முக்கியம் கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமா ரொம்ப தப்பா இருக்கும்.
ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு பேச ஒருத்தர் டைலாக் சொல்றாரு. கை தட்டினா வரும் சத்தம், ஸ்பிட்டேட் பண்ணா என்ன குத்தம். சொல்லு இப்ப சொல்லு.
ஐயோ ரிவல்ஸ் ப்ரோ நான் போற கமெண்ட் இந்த மாதிரி பொக்கஞ்சக்கா போடாதீங்க
பாய். என் தலை ஒருத்தன் கமெண்ட் பண்ணியாம வெறி தலை, நீ தான் தலை.
ப்ரோ ஸ்பெக்டேட் பண்ணா குத்தம் இல்ல ப்ரோ, அது தெரியணும். எப்படி ஸ்பெக்டேட் பண்ணணும், யாரை பண்ணணும் தெரியாது ப்ரோ. ஸ்பெக்டேட் இல்ல அதே மாதிரி ரிவல்ஸ் ப்ரோ.
பாய் அப்பனா கரெக்டா குத்தங்க.
ஒரு டவுன் ஓகே, 2 டவுன் வச்சாங்க ப்ரோ. இதே பண்ணுங்க
பாய். ஓடு ஆர்மை ஆர்மை வெரி வெரி வெரி
ஐயோ
வெரி
அவ்வளவுதான்.
என்ன பாய் மேட்ச் இப்படி போகுது. ஆனா गाइस நான் மொபைல் பிளேயர்ஸ் வரீங்க அப்படினா ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். ஆப்போசிட்ல பிசி பிளேயர்ஸ் இருப்பாங்க. சொல்லிட்டேன் ப்ரோ. நெக்ஸ்ட் சீசன்ல ப்ரோ அடுத்த இது சீசன் பாப்போம். அது நம்ம மெயின் டோர்னமெண்ட் தான் பாப்போம். கேஓ லைவ்ல கால் பண்ணி வம்புலுங்க இருங்க गाइस. இவ ராக்கர சரபருக்கு மெசேஜ் பண்ணிரோம் பி ரெடி அப்படிட்டு.
ஓகே
பி ரெடி. ஓகே சொல்லியாச்சு. ராஜகுமார் வணக்கம் நண்பர், வெல்கம் டு டீம். ஸோ பார்க்கலாம் ப்ரோ சாமோட ஸ்னைப்பிங் இந்த மேட்ச் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ அவங்க தான் ஃபுல் மேட்ச் லீடிங் இருக்காரு. அருமையான வந்து கீழே ஒரு பிளேயரை பார்த்துட்டு அவங்க மேல மட்டும் தான் போய் கண்ணா இருக்காங்க, மேல உள்ள பிளேயரை பார்க்க மாட்டாங்க.
அதேதான் ப்ரோ அதேதான்.
ஆமா ஸோ அதான் மிஸ்டேக்.
அதுதான் ஆனா இவங்க டீம்ல பேக்கப் போறது ஸ்னைப்பர் பிளேயர் தான் கரெக்டா இருந்துச்சு. இப்ப இங்க அவர் போஸ்ட் மாட்டிமா பேக்ல இருந்து அவரு போஸ்ட் மாட்டிப்பாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி ரஷ் பண்ணும்போது கரெக்டா இருக்கும். ஃபுல்லா கீழே ஆடுறாங்களா. இன்னொன்னு மேல ரூஃப் பிளேயர் ஸ்னைப்பர் பிளேயர் சொல்லி கொடுப்பாங்க, இங்க ஸ்பாட் பண்ணுவாங்க இனிமே. அப்போ இன்னும் ஈஸியா இருக்கும். ஃபுல்லா ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி இருக்கு ப்ரோ. அதெல்லாம் இறங்கி விளையாடலாம் தெரியும். சும்மா ஸ்பெக்டேட்ல இருந்தா எனக்கு கேட்க தெரியும். ரிவல்ஸ் ப்ரோ
காத்தாடி தேவை வானா உங்களுக்கு ரிவல்ஸ் ஸ்பெக்டேட்டே வேணாம்.
இது ஒரு வாஸ்தவமான பேச்சு. ரிவல்ஸ் ப்ரோ இதுக்கு பதில் என்ன?
நீர்ல அடிக்க மாட்டேனா சாரி
ரிவல்ஸ் ப்ரோ இதுக்கு உங்க ரிப்ளை சொல்லுங்க.
என்ன பாய்
உங்க ஸ்பெக்டேட்டர் சப்ஸ்கிரைபர்ஸ் என்ன சொல்றாங்க? என்ன காரணம்?
நல்லா இருக்கு பாய் ஸ்பெக்டேட் பண்றது. ஒரு டோர்னமெண்ட் நடத்துறதுக்கு இப்போ நீனா ஸ்பெக்டேட் பண்ணுவா சொல்லு. நம்ம நடத்துறோம், நம்ம தான் இருக்கணும் ஸ்பெக்டேட்ல.
அதேதான் ப்ரோ. ஆனா உங்க ப்ரொஃபஷனல் ஸ்பெக்டேட்டர் மாதிரி யாரும் சொல்ல மாட்டேங்கறாங்க ப்ரோ. ரெண்டானாச்சு
அதுக்கு நான் என்ன இப்ப ஸ்பெக்டேட்டுக்கு இது ஏம் பாட்டா போட முடியும். அடிக்கணும் கரெக்டா போய் பாக்குறதுக்கு சொல்லு.
இல்ல ப்ரோ சரி ஓகே நீங்க நல்லா பண்ணுங்க. அவங்க ஒரு அவார்ட் தரோம் ப்ரோ. உனக்கு
அவார்ட் வேணுமா பாய்?
எனக்கு தாங்க ப்ரோ. எனக்கு எதுக்கு என்ன அவார்ட் தர போறீங்க?
நீ பேஸ் கேம் போடு பாய்.
ஆனா ப்ரோ
ஓகே ஐ திங்க் ஓவரால் மேட்ச் வந்து இன்ட்ரஸ்டிங்கா போக மாட்டேங்குது. இந்த மாதிரி ஒன் சைடா போறதுனால நமக்கு
அதே ப்ரோ
பாவம். டீம் ஃபண்டாஸ்டிக். அவங்க முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு ட்ரை பண்றாங்க.
கண்டிப்பா. ஏன்னா இன்னொரு பிசி அங்க 2 பிசி இருந்தாலும் எனக்கு கரெக்டா இருக்கும்.
கண்டிப்பா மேட்ச் பாவம் கைஸ் அவங்க. பட் பரவாயில்ல, அவங்க முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு ட்ரை கொடுக்குறாங்க நம்ம ஈவென்ட்ல வந்து. ஜிஜி கைஸ்.
அதே போல வந்து ஏசிஎஸ் ஸ்போர்ட்ஸும் சும்மா இல்ல ப்ரோ. ஒரு பக்காவான கிளாஸ் ஸ்போர்ட் டீம் கேரளா சைடு.
கண்டிப்பா
ஆமா. இவங்க வந்து ஒரு தடவை வரும்போது 2 பிசி நல்ல பிசி விட்டுருந்தா கரெக்டா இருக்கும்.
ராஜ்குமார் டுமாரோ கெமிஸ்ட்ரி எக்ஸாம் பட் ஐ அம் சீயிங் யுவர் லைஃப் ப்ரோ. அதெல்லாம் வேண்டாம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் உங்க படிப்பு, அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் இந்த லைவ் ஃப்ரீ ஃபயர் எல்லாமே. அப்படியே ப்ரோ படிப்பு.
அவங்க ரிவல்ஸ் சொல்றீங்க அவங்க ரிவல்ஸ் நீங்க காலேஜ் படிக்கலன்னு கேட்பாங்க. என்ன சொல்ல போறீங்க?
மாதிரி காலேஜ் அவன் ஏதாவது போனா ஏதாவது சொல்லுவானோ பைத்தியக்காரன்.